Hi, hi everybody. It's 3:16 p.m. on June 26, 2023. The video I put up here, why is Raven like a writing desk? Okay, that was like a day ago. I think it was on the 24th, actually. So the interesting thing is, and it shows this, I showed you this saucer kind of disc, and it's, see if I can zoom in, and it's got the rays coming down on the mountain. Okay, now if you think about the mountain is our the top of our head. Remember, Moses went up to the top of the mountain, so it's like saying that our mind's eye, the temple, the top of our head. Okay, so it's showing these rays coming out of the ship onto the mountain. Well, today this and it was that way for 2 days, which the search engine is always putting up a new image every day, right? Well, this stayed for 2 days. And today we have a DNA strand, which is really quite interesting. I don't know how well you can see that. And the reason why I mention this because a lot of people might be feeling this because I definitely feel it today. Oh my goodness, I felt it when I woke up this morning, my temple, and I've got like this slight headache. And then I was listening to Gina Marie on her channel, and she started mentioning it a couple of days ago, or yesterday, I think, or day before yesterday. See if I can pull her channel up here. And yeah, Gina Marie. And she was talking about it too, as well, about the energies. Every day at 3 o'clock, it feels like there's this energy, right? And she did this 2 hours ago because she started feeling it. And, I have to read that one. But, or watch that one. But she was talking about the energies because she's feeling it as well. And she has like 143,000 subscribers, and they're all talking about how they're feeling this energy and stuff. So you guys are probably feeling it too. But she says it happens around 3 o'clock her time. She's in the U.S. somewhere, but I don't know where she's at. But she feels it, and then other people, because she does her streams like live, like stuff, and other people were commenting about how they were feeling it and all these types of energies. And I thought, well, maybe I'll put a video out, seeing if anybody else is feeling these energies. And I think these energies have to do with upgrading our DNA, and perhaps one of the motherships is sending down these frequencies. And again, like I said, I think it has something to do with upgrading our DNA, or at least possibly activating certain parts of our DNA, possibly. Not too sure. Anything is possible, right? But I want to check out, because she does a lot of good videos here where she actually looks at these people, because she's looking at him, so I'm going to watch this. But anyway, I wanted to get this uploaded and tell everybody to drink lots of water. I've been drinking fruit juice like Kool-Aid and stuff like that. And that's another thing today is my appetite is not, I can't get my appetite there. When I went to go make breakfast, I couldn't even eat half of it. And I'm just like, oh my goodness, what is going on? So then I laid down, and last night when I laid down, I had these serious muscle cramps in both my legs. Oh my goodness. It was so intense for hours. I get up and I walk around, and it was literally, you can see in my legs, in this part of my legs right here, they would just cramp up on both sides. And of course, my toes are just like, I'm like, oh my goodness. But so something's happening, and we can also see it on the world stage of things that are happening as well. So with people, even the people are getting stirred up, because they're like, oh, let Trump off, and then they're like, oh, but look at Biden, he's still in there. Oh, great, now Biden won, another one for Biden. But they don't seem to understand that they're not, I don't think, even if the higher powers that, are not the people that are above, that are, it's like watching the Muppet Show, right? And remember the Muppet Show, they had these two old guys that set up in the balcony that was watching the play going on downstairs. And if you think about the two older guys up above, think about the two witnesses, possibly Jesus and God. Think about those guys that are up there watching this whole thing happen. And they're, controlling the stage and stuff like that. So I just wanted to throw that out there, because everything in the movies, in the cartoons, in the shows that they're showing us, those all has to do with waking us up. But of course, you got the people that are like, no, that's just, that's just this and that's just that, because they can't see, they can't piece it together. It's just like when I was saying, people can't go back in history. They can only go back, remember so far back. It's like, when I was talking about the TRMP, it's like you've got these faults. It even says in Scripture, many false prophets, many false teachers, many false people will come forward. And we already know how false this one is. And we also know that America is the deep state. So, when you have two evils rising up, and I got to find that part on The Simpsons, because they were even showing, there's a video on here, on BitChute that I seen, where they were going through and showing The Simpsons predicting, like recently about or Bart Simpson goes fishing, he pulls out a fish and it's got 3 eyes on it. Well, now there's fish in some of these streams with these nuclear plants that are coming out with 3 eyes. I mean, and I guess the guys that caught the fish, they were like, we're not going to eat this, which I don't blame them either. Because, it's got its regular 2 eyes and it's got an eye on the forehead. It's just some wild stuff. Then they were showing, I think, about 10 other things about the events that were happening and how they all played out and come true. Besides, we already know about 9/11, where that was right on one of the covers of the magazines of The Simpsons and stuff. So, and then if you look at the word Simpson, the S, let's look at this. If we write down The Simpsons, and they even show you on The Simpsons how they come back as different. They can come back as a different, different looks and different. It's like different characters, right? They show one. The Simpsons come back in like a Lego form, or they come back and they're all shaped differently and stuff like that. So when we look at Simpsons, S is the sum, which is the sum of the equation, or the summoner. E equals imp sun. Okay, so the Iron Man pole, which is us, we're the priest, the pole, sun, right? And then if you think of sun. And that's another thing about the heat wave that's happening now, because right now it's 80 degrees right now, and it feels like it's like 90 out there. And again, we've got Lord Jesus' sun, which is called Sol, which is the sun that shines on us every day. And we have the second sun, which is Daniel coming in, right? That red dragon. Well, the interesting thing about the red dragon, if you look back in history, I think it's King George, one of the older ones. I think it was King George VI. They have a painting, and they have King George on a horse and everything, but there's a red dragon that sits off to the side of King George. Another thing, you got the Hopi tribe mentioning that the great white man with the red cap. Well, everybody's looking at Trump as the great white man with the red hat. And this is where I'm saying the false trumpet, right? That he is the false one. Because there's a real one and there's a false one, someone who's always mimicking the situation. And so when you look at, and then his son, his recent son with Melania, whatever her name is, his name is Baron. Well, do you guys remember the Red Baron? It's kind of like saying, I don't know if you watched the movie Clue, but at the end of it, they talk about how they use it as a red herring. A red herring means that they just they take it. Where is the movie Clue? Let me get in my movies here. This one right here, the movie Clue. At the end of it, they're trying to figure out who killed who or whatever, but at the end of it, Wadsworth goes, it's a red herring, right? It means it wasn't true. Somebody who's disguising themselves or playing that part. And let me see if I can look that up about King George. I think it's King George the Sixth. Well, I should look this up beforehand, because my computer gets a little slow. King George Six is VI. And then they got this funky looking game-like thing, which is quite interesting because it shows two pigs, and then they show a cat. King George, born Prince Albert Frederick Arthur George, was the King of the United Kingdom and head of the British Commonwealth and the last Emperor of India. Now remember, Mother Mary was the, I do believe, some type of form of queen of India. Where's let's put Red Dragon. Red Dragon. Let's see if that comes up. Oh, interesting. They show these medals. I don't think I remember seeing this before. But they show a red dragon. I seen it. I should have kept that picture. It's like an old painting picture where it shows that he's on a horse, and there's this red dragon that's with him, or off to the side. The Queen's Best Red Dragon of Wales. So the red dragon is like saying, in the end time, when they talk about wormwood in the Bible, right? Worm is our DNA. Wood is the tree of life, which that's, like our spine, the serpent on the spine. So it's all encoded for people to, for those who want to look and observe, or those who just go by the script, which I'm not going to be able to find it, I don't think. Again, it's one of those paintings or whatever. But anyway, I thought I'd mention this because everything is when they talk about how history repeats itself or everything is encoded, I think that we, try to expand our, of what we think instead of getting carried away in the world. Because we already know Biden, he's a big criminal, him and Hunter. And then you've got Biden, means it's like, Bi means two dens. So he's representing, or taken on that role of saying of the lion's den, kind of like reaction, or I can't even talk because of my the dragon's head are those of an eagle and a dragon to signify the principal Occidental and Oriental enemies during the second war. Yeah, I bet you it is during the Second War because these are the war medals. And interesting, when you look at September 2nd, 1945, you've got, 4 plus 5 is 9, so 99, so 199. 99 represents Einstein. Of course, I think differently than what everybody else thinks because I see things differently. I can even see, like images unfolding on my desk that nobody else can understand or see on my body that, nobody understands. And then I'm having these, just like when I showed you about my hand, somehow it's like I've been branded with that mark on my hand. So there's things that are happening in the spiritual realm that are actually coming through on the physical level. So when I tell you about these things that they're showing us, they're always telling us, right? Because no one ever looks at what they're showing here. They see, oh, look, a flying saucer, throwing rays down on a mountain. But then, they can't think of everything is biblical right now. You got to remember everything is on the spiritual level. When I was telling you about how the 1% is the deep state. And if you think about the deep state, look at it this way. Our mind's eye is the deep state. Then you've got the state of Israel. Okay, when you think about the state of Israel, it's down here in our core. A core of our body, because the state of Israel is like, planting the 3 seeds, and you become a state, and then you go up. I wonder if state has, so that's the E sum, Tate. Now, T is T representing the crown. I bet you Te, I wonder if they're going to, if Hebrew, what Te is in Hebrew. I know the T is representing the sun tower and the A is representing the atom. What does Te mean in Hebrew? Remember, Hebrew is our first language, and everybody looks at trying to discover everything through English, and English is the reverse of Hebrew. Okay, in Hebrew, Te means, or can refer to a chamber, a guard room, or a room in Hebrew is represented by the Hebrew word, and it shows the symbols. Verb to mark a feminine gender for third person perspective, past tense verb, past tense second person. Okay, so what's this say? And feminine, like Ezekiel 40. Let's look at that. From the base of a room, a circumference, a little chamber. So, the third eye, the base. So you go up the state of Israel, right? And now you're growing up to right here, which is the Ta. The Ta. And then if you look at Ta, in ancient Greek, it's the 19th letter. And Ta is spelled T-A-U, but in Hebrew, it's the 22nd letter, and it's with the X symbol, and it's spelled T-A-V. So let's go to Ezekiel 40:12 and see if we can pull that up. Strong's Hebrew. Yeah, from the base of. So this is from the base, right? This is the base of the stand, the 3 seats that we're planning in going up, which remember is Judea, Christianity, and Islam. And I think Islam and Muslim are the same thing. Let's check out Ezekiel. Oh, let's do this. The space also before the little chamber was 1 cubit on this side, and the space was 1 cubit on that side. And the little chamber were 6 cubits on this side and 6 cubits on the other side. It's quite interesting. It's like saying on this side, the positive side, 6 cubits, and 6 cubits on the negative side. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 up to La, because remember that's T or the Ta. So do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, God's law right there is in the mind's eye. And if you look at the name of Ezekiel is Z-E-Z-K-L. Elohim is L. Ki is Chi, which is represented by the 22nd letter or the X in Greek. Z is the 6th letter in Greek. And of course, the big E is like the elect, or E equals probably the sum. It could be recognized as a sum. So everything is kind of like scripted, even in the book, which is quite interesting because I just had, it's like all my family and friends, they put out all these posts on Facebook, and they're like, these pastors and stuff saying, you should carry your Bible as like you do your phone, and you should always open it and read it, So what he's saying is that people should be carrying their Bible everywhere they go, and, kind of like advertising what they're doing and preaching to the people. So he's in this church, and he's this guy again, of course, these pastors are always in these churches and people are worshiping them. And so I put a comment on that post going, yeah, but you guys are all breaking God's law when God said, of the 10 Commandments I was telling you. So Moses come down off the mountain with 3 tablets. When he come off the mountain, he notices that they're worshiping the bull, the golden bull, the money, the stock market. And I already told you, Trump lives in a palace of gold, the Vatican, a palace of gold. So they don't want these people to be prosecuted for their crimes. They want them to just give them a waiver and forget about it. Because I was just noticing today on the news that popped up where McCarthy wants to expunge or remove all these crimes, to let him go off of it. And then so there's something happening on the world stage. And then like Gina Marie has that post, which I'm going to check, where they were trying to, let's see here, they're bailing out all the wealthy in the banking crisis. Well, Trump is one of the wealthy, so it's like they're doing this thing, which they definitely wouldn't bail you and I out. I mean, seriously, they would not bail out any of us, or the regular people, but they're constantly bailing out all these rich people, all these corrupt people, all the people that have caused us to be in the situation that we're in. And again, you've got him. And then that one guy that was going against Russia, whatever I can't even say his name. But anyway, he turned back from Russia. Well, James Coffin just found out on the news that the CIA paid that guy and his army to go invade Moscow with $6.2 million of our American money. So The guy takes the money. They're headed towards Moscow. They stop 130 miles away from Moscow. The guy gets in touch with Putin, and then they resolve it. Now, America is out $6.2 million. I mean, do people get this? It's like they're throwing our money away for these war games and for their own personal gain. And we're just supposed to sit back and keep fighting over the two criminals and the CIA and the FBI and all these corrupt things. And we're supposed to go, oh, but they're protecting us. Oh, they're doing this. I mean, come on, people. We've got to smarten up a bit, man. We can't be just sitting there going, oh, but this guy's this and this guy's that. But, Trump did this and Trump really cares about America. If that man really cared about American people, he would sell all of his gold and he would have his children out getting a job. His children, I mean, where did they work? Did they work like a regular job like you and I? No, they get handed the best jobs and the best pay. So we've got to, spartan up and say, hey, we are no longer the low on the totem pole. We are taking charge back our totem pole. We are going to even our own bodies. And so I think that's why even Trump had mentioned that the seal was broken. And then I showed you the other day, or a week or two ago, where on the moon, it shows that it showed an image of a seal on the moon, right? So whoever controls the weather, right, and whoever controls the world, the environment, or can fool the people, which is not too hard to fool the people, no disrespect to people, but if they can't even understand the world script of the scripture and obey by that, just like when I was talking about the 15 commandments, so Moses comes down off the hill and part of the commandments, the first part of it says, I'm a jealous God. And the second verse says, do not make anything in the shape of heaven and earth below and above. Right? And do not be bowing down and doing anything. It's because our body is the kingdom of God. But man doesn't look at that. They only look at 10 commandments out of a whole verse of commandments and laws. I think there's up to 18 or 22 that God put in there, but they only take out that 10, and none of them have to do with worshiping and paying the man on, so they remove that from their sight. And so now only the people can see, even though they're carrying around a Bible and they're reading it every day, but they're breaking God's laws always. And so the people are breaking God's laws. So again, we've got to be smart and read the script ourselves and stop allowing other people to relay these verses to us without us using our own mind, our own mind's eye, and going into our own meditation. Because you actually create your own doom by being a follower. I mean, look at the past civilizations of all the people that followed their leaders, and their societies have been wiped out, all because they can't either read when that the majority of the people can read, but they're just too lazy. It's like when they go on a video, they want something in like 2 or 3 minutes. They want a quick fix. Oh, let me see it. I haven't got time for it. And they're scrolling on to somebody else, and they're scrolling, they're going. But they're not even absorbing or trying to figure out what someone is saying because they're too busy, going through all this stuff really fast, wanting quick news. I want this result. I want this result. Well, it was never like that from the beginning. And what makes you think that your brain is so much faster and can handle it now, which it can't when they can't even comprehend what they're doing. It's just like this whole Pride Month and everything. If you look at the gay pride, it's perverted. I mean, what is so prideful about walking around half naked, wearing a dog mask, wearing cat clothes? I mean, that's not pride. I mean, look at the word pride. What does pride mean? The word pride. And then we've got, the search engine, to help us along here, but no one, or in the dictionary, which I've got a medical dictionary down there and I've got a regular dictionary, but no one uses those. Pride, a feeling of deep pleasure or satisfaction derived from one's own achievements. Achievements. What is wearing a dog mask and walking around with your booty hanging out of achievement, right? The achievements of those with whom one is closely associated or of qualities of obsession that are widely admired. Consciousness of one's own dignity. Consciousness of one's own dignity. And see, this is what I'm saying about how they perverted the Rainbow Bridge. They've also perverted what pride means, right? That's not what pride means. It means confidence and self-respect. Look at that. Confidence and self-respect as expressed by members of a group, typically one that has been socially marginalized on the basis of their shared identity, culture, and experience. Well, that's sort of true. But again, it goes back to consciousness of one's own dignity. I bet you they'd put that in here just because of that. But anyway, so that's not pride. Pride isn't saying I'm gay.